On this edition of the Sports Desk, the Torrance Sports Festival celebrates their inaugural year. These special needs athletes do more than just have a good time. And on the volleyball court, the El Camino men's team is fighting for their share of the conference championship against a contentious rival in LA Pierce College. Moving along to baseball, the Elko Warriors are going to make it to the playoffs. They have to win against second place Compton College. Johnson Mai is a wrestler with the state title, and he won't have to pay any student loans after college. Get fired up because the Sports Desk starts now. Hello and welcome to the Sports Desk. With spring break behind us, that means that league play will be in full swing in the coming weeks. But before we get to that, let's talk about one of my most favorite stories that we cover every year. Torrance has hosted the special needs community with the Special Olympics for the last 19 years. But this year they're branching out and branding a new event. The Torrance Sports Festival is not just about camaraderie and fun. Let's go ahead and take a look. This day was filled with fun, but don't let anyone tell you these athletes don't like competition and that they don't take these games seriously. They participate in more sports than most. The Special Olympics has taken place in Torrance for the last 19 years, but there's something different about this year in the Torrance Sports Festival.
With the City of Torrance, we've created the Special Needs Sports Program to kind of branch out, create more opportunities for our athletes.
The Carson basketball team played Torrance. The city's team was in the lead for much of the game till Capricia Trotter turned on her game. She shot 13 baskets and tells us her take on competing.
Because basketball is my favorite sport, and I like playing with my friends because it's more fun.
While these athletes like participating, so do the volunteers. Coach David Barrow really delves into why everyone should take the time to help out.
It's really been great. I mean, the fans, all the families and the support from the community, and everyone's out here today. It's really a wonderful atmosphere, and it's really very rewarding. Makes you feel inspired to be here and to continue helping out.
Inspired indeed. I just love seeing these athletes compete and have fun. It's so great that Torrance is so involved in the special needs community. So next time you have a chance, come out and volunteer, or just to cheer on the athletes that probably play more sports than you do. But after this short break, we move over to El Camino men's volleyball. The Warriors are vying for a share of the South Coast Conference Championship with this game. The highlights are next.
What if you could ignite your child's love of learning with one after-school program? What if that one program was easy and fun? Destination Imagination is the one. Destination Imagination has taught teamwork, creativity, and problem-solving for more than 25 years. A major university study showed our students are ahead of others in creativity and critical thinking. Learn more at startateen.org and make Destination Imagination the one for you.
This is Brendan. He never expected to have a foundation created in his name, but then his mother never expected her precious newborn to be diagnosed with a birth defect virus called cytomegalovirus, or CMV. CMV is crippling. Brendan went from what doctors thought was a healthy newborn to one with deafness and brain damage caused by CMV. Brendan's mother learned about CMV to give him the best life possible. Now she wants to help other families avoid this traumatic illness. CMV can be prevented. CMV attacks 1 in 150 babies born in the U.S. 1 in 5 of those babies will suffer lifelong disability. CMV disables more children than Down syndrome and fetal alcohol syndrome. Get the facts. Learn how to protect your unborn child. Visit cmvfoundation.org.
Welcome back. The El Camino men's volleyball program is led by 11-year veteran Richard Blount. He gears his players up for the next level of competition for sure. In this match, he's got some help from the sophomore leaders, gearing themselves and their teammates toward a much-needed win versus LA Pierce College. Sports Desk reporter Aaron Giddens bumps us this story.
El Camino has lost their last 2 matches. Their last loss came from Long Beach City College in a key conference match. the Warriors must win out in order to capture a share of the conference title. Before the first set got started, there was a special recognition of all the El Camino sophomores playing in their last conference match. Hunter Hovland, Kevin Burrell, Joseph Tanuvasa, Adam Osman, and Dustin Ive are key players to this team's success. Once the game was in motion, strong serving by sophomore Hunter Hovland put the Warriors up 3-0. Errors by El Camino put points on the scoreboard for Pierce. A kill by Ian Zavala won Pierce the first set 25-21. The Warriors led most of the second set until a kill by outside hitter Dron Griffith tied the game at 19. A kill by freshman Trevor Butler put the Warriors up 2. A block for sophomore Joseph Tamunasa wins second match for El Camino. The Warriors could not answer Pierce's defense in the third set, losing 25-16. The fourth set was the most intense as each team led no more than 3 points. Hovland and Butler stepped up for the Warriors as both made big plays to help the Warriors win the fourth set 25-22. Neither team could take a sizable lead in the final frame with more than 3 ties in the entire set. On an El Camino serve, Pierce could not keep the ball in bounds, giving the Warriors a 12-10 lead. Pierce rallied for 3 consecutive points to take the lead, but they could not return the ball, giving El Camino their first match point. Griffith came up big for Pierce with this kill to tie the game at 14. A crucial block by the Warriors set up their second match point. Pierce refused to give up in the final frame, but they were called for a violation that sealed the victory for El Camino 16-14. Hovland, who had 13 kills, 13 digs, and 3 aces, says how the team motivated themselves to win.
We kind of, got in the rally. We're like, we have nothing to lose at this point, so I tried to really strive my team to really work hard and get those extra points to win the game.
Sophomore Kevin Burrell had 13 blocks and 5 kills, says the team must work on one thing for the playoffs.
Just pass. That's our only default. If we pass the ball, then we're the greatest team ever.
Coach Blount says how his team was able to be victorious.
You're standing on it. It's our floor. We do a lot of drills to protect this court, and they did it tonight.
It was an intense playoff-like game here at El Camino College, where the Warriors beat Pierce College in a 5-game match.
That was Aaron Giddens reporting from El Camino College. Thanks, Aaron, for that story. El Camino's win over Pierce was a close match with the Warriors dropping 2 sets, but Hunter Hovland kept the pressure on with 13 kills, 3 aces, and 2 blocks. Kevin Burrell's defense was stellar, totaling 13 blocks on the match. Joseph Tanuvasa finished out with 37 assists. The Warriors go into the playoffs this week with a 7-3 league record. Grossmont College will travel to El Camino for the first round of the playoffs. The winner of this game will play Orange Coast in the conference for a chance to play in the championship game. Let's move our attention now to another El Camino sport. The El Camino baseball team is in a roll this week with 6 straight wins as they begin last week's series against Compton College. These 3 games are important for playoff contention, but also for keeping the momentum going. The Warriors like their chances, though, with their 3 starting pitchers that bring the heat, and their defense needs some tweaking, but offense isn't a problem. New Sports Desk reporter Jenny Phillips brings us the action.
The Warriors came out hot, going up 2 runs in the first inning off a Luke Klosick 2-run double, but Compton would soon answer. Top of the 4th, Compton has a man on third, grounder to third. Fielding error by the Warriors helps Compton send a runner home. El Camino only up by 1 now. Bottom of the 4th, bases loaded. El Camino's Marvin Flores up at bat. He sends a runner in with a hit to right field. El Camino with the 2-run lead again. Top of the 7th, still 3-1. Compton has runners on second and third. Oscar Leon up at bat, and he sends one deep into the outfield for 2 RBIs. Now they're tied 3-3. Bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. Flores with a double. El Camino can't send him home though, and we're into extra innings. Relief pitcher Daniel Timmerman then manages to shut out Compton, and we go into the bottom of the 10th. Ronnie Golosic up at bat. He gets on base with a nice hit. Now Johnny Palmer at bat. Looks like a sac bunt, but a fielding error gets him on base, and Golosic advances to second. Bryce Savage at the plate. 1-0 count, and he drops one out to left field, sending Golosic home. The Warriors come out on top, 4-3. The excitement wasn't short-lived, but the team says they treated it like it was just another game.
We're just sticking to our approach up there at the plate and trying to get runs, and we're not that much pressure to us. We just know we got to win games, and we get the job done and do what we have to do to win.
Playing under pressure, you kind of have to just try and keep the same mindset that you do in practice, you do every game. It shouldn't change anything except the atmosphere around you. Nothing else changes your approach. Everything should stay the same.
Okay, and so what are you looking to do for the rest of this series?
Hopefully we can get 2 more wins, just keep hitting the ball, and Freeman did a great job on the mound today.
Drew Freeman pitched 8 1/3, allowing 3 runs with 9 strikeouts. He too is taking things just one game at a time.
I try to stick to the simple plan, just throw strikes, get ahead, try to keep my pitch count low, and everything else should take care of itself.
Freeman and the Warriors need to keep that simple mindset moving forward through the rest of the season. It was an intense game as El Camino was able to hang on and beat Compton 4-3. Now the Warriors are looking to finish off the rest of the season strong and make a run in the playoffs. I'm Jenny Phillips reporting from Warrior Field.
Hey, thanks to Jenny for this story. El Camino held Compton to only 3 runs in this 4-3 win. Drew Freeman threw 9 strikeouts before Daniel Timmerman relieved him in the 8th inning. Former Torrance Tartar Marvin Flores was 3 for 4 at the plate, driving in a run. Luke Klosick, who went to West, scored a run and slapped 2 ribbies on his stat sheet. The Tartars would see Compton 2 more times. Compton scored 12 runs in the following game. Communication broke down in that loss. El Camino shut out Compton in the 3rd and final game of this series. The Warriors are tied for 2nd in the conference with Compton College, but edged them with a head-to-head win. With the tough schedule left in 6 conference games, they've got to play very well. And the Warriors will play Long Beach City this week. Long Beach is looking for El Camino's 2nd place spot. Let's move on to a few of the prep baseball games that were played last week during spring break. I'm going to show you these baseball games that were played because it really helped set up the Pioneer League team in the landscape of expectations. North took on Notre Dame and beat them by 2 runs. What I want you to point out and see is the next Chatsworth matchup against both Torrance and North. Although they both lost, it's a good barometer for North's ability to get on base versus Torrance in the future games. The North and Torrance game is going to be a good one. South lost both of their tournament games, but hey, that doesn't count towards a playoff run and can only be good experience. The Pioneer League standings going into this week. North is at the top and has a good chance to stay there. The Saxons are 11-8 overall. El Segundo and South are evenly matched in talent in the bullpen and will be in contention. Not far behind is Torrance. They might not be as strong as years past, but you can never count them out. Lawndale is 2nd to last, but you can't sleep on this team either. Let's take a look at West and Bishop Montgomery's scores from last week. Costa beat West in the first of their 2 Bay League games. The Warriors have power at the plate, but can stand to work on their defense. Bishop Montgomery didn't fare too well in their tournament games. A quick look at the Bay League standings. It'll be a logjam at the top for PV, Costa, and Redondo, all vying for a championship. West will have to get some momentum going this week with 2 games against Peninsula. Let's now take a quick look at the girls' softball standings. I won't go into their tournament play, but their overall records definitely give us a good idea for what to expect this week. Christina Washington and the Lady Tartars are smoking with a 19-4 overall record and a win against South Torrance. We'll have those highlights next week, by the way, and El Segundo, South, and North have the talent to contend for first place, so the playoff race really begins now instead of midway through the season. Again, just like their baseball team, Lawndale could knock out one of those top 4 in a game, so these guys have to be careful. And West Softball is 1-1 in Bay League with a win over Redondo and a 10-2 loss to Peninsula. B Monty Softball is 5-11 overall and 0-5 in the Delray League. That's it for the baseball and softball news. We've got more coming up. After the break, we go back to North to find out one of the best wrestlers and who's going on an academic scholarship and more. Stick around.
I'm Gary Sinise. I've had the great privilege of meeting and working with many of our country's heroes, our veterans, and heard their stories. But for the 58,272 names on the Vietnam Wall, their stories will never be shared. Help us change that. The Education Center at the Wall will put faces to the names, displaying photos, letters, and mementos of those who served, so their stories will never be forgotten. Visit buildthecenter.org and help us build it.
I believe that home is where your pet is.
And that loving an animal means never giving up on them, never letting them go.
I believe that when you spay or neuter your pets, you help decrease the number of homeless animals.
Because every dog and cat deserves a place to call home.
I believe that I found my best friend at a shelter. And you can too.
We believe that together with Best Friends Animal Society,
we can bring about a time when there are no more homeless pets.
Visit ambassadors.bestfriends.org.
Never look a howler monkey in the eye.
Fried ants are delicious.
We finished the clinic in a rainstorm.
Really?
That was a confidence builder.
My students actually ended up teaching me.
Yeah. In la keg, à la king.
Think managing a sales team is tough. Try working with 5 different villages. My alarm clock was a rooster. After 2 months, I was ready to quit, but after 2 years, I didn't want to leave.
I didn't know I had it in me.
Turn 2 years of service into a lifetime of experience.
The wrestling season ended a while ago, but a new chapter is about to begin for one of North Saxon's top wrestlers. Hard work and dedication has driven Johnson Mai to win numerous awards and also receive a full-ride scholarship to college. Just how many awards has Mai racked up, and where will we see him on the mat next year? SportsDesk reporter Brittany Johnson has the story.
We finally caught up with Johnson Mai after the wrestling season to discuss all of his accomplishments. While high school soon may be coming to an end, he tells me this is just the beginning. 3-time league champ, 3-time CIF champ, 2 times Masters finalist, 3 times Masters placer, a Masters champion, 2-time state finalist, and a state champ. You all know who I'm talking about, none other than the man you see right there on the mat, the Saxon's own Johnson Mai. He is the South Bay's first state wrestling champion since 1990. So you're stepping up on the mat and you look at your opponent. What's the first thing that goes through your head?
Nothing really, just go out there and wrestle. Just do what I do.
What do you do?
I win. I'm winning. Sometimes I lose too, so it's,
He may be all fun and games here, but when he steps on that mat, his game is no joke. This season, Mai finished 44-4. Head coach Luke Santos told me when a player is that good, it challenges him as a coach on how to present a player such as Mai with greater expectations.
As he progressed, the challenges kind of changed, and towards the end, it kind of became a challenge for us to present challenges to him, to mix it up. But he did a really good job of working towards, dominating competition as opposed to just, winning didn't get boring the way he won. He challenged himself with the way he won.
Coach Santos would describe Mai's wrestling style as being very technical. He says Mai sets things up and always has a game plan. He also says the adjustments Mai makes on the mat set him apart from other wrestlers.
He makes good transitions from being physical in a match to being very technical to slowing it down to picking it up.
Mai is not the only wrestler in his family that has experienced success as a Saxon. He has 2 older brothers, Kevin and Kenny, that have their own list of achievements. Despite all of the awards between the brothers, Mai says they get along great.
It's a pretty good relationship, and they've helped me out many times, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
But in regards to him and his brothers, when he was a sophomore, they just used to beat him up and be physical, and it was one of those things where he was probably at 90 pounds, and he would go
freshman year too.
In your freshman year. But I remember his sophomore year because that's when he really started being competitive. Was he had to learn how to wrestle guys bigger than him because he's only like 90-something pounds, and so he'd get in there with his brothers they're cutting down, they're cutting weight, and he'd get in on a shot and he would fight for things, and he would start to irritate them. He started to get on their nerves because he started getting better, so they had to get physical, and so they would just to make a point, they would beat him up. So they made him tough. They have a lot to do with why he's where he's at.
Throughout his years at North, Mai has had a tremendous amount of support from not only the administration, but also from the community. Fundraisers were held to help send Mai to different tournaments and to be able to compete in different styles of wrestling. His wrestling may have won over the community, but his parents weren't his biggest fans at first. They wanted him to focus on his education instead of sports. But now, after all of his success, he says they're happy for him.
They're pretty excited now. Now they know, like they can brag about to their friends and say, "Oh, my son's gonna be like, you really do." I'm not gonna lie.
And before our time was up, we had to hit the mat.
All right, so pretty much, I mean, it's kind of weird, but you tie up, like head to head kind of thing. Put your shoulder right here.
My shoulder?
No, I mean your hand right here. Right here. I'm gonna come right here. I'm gonna use my hand and pressing into me, and I'm gonna use this hand to block. And I'm just gonna step.
All right, so that's the last time you will see Johnson Mai on the mat for the Saxons. In the fall, he will be attending Columbia University in New York, but he assured me that he will be back. Reporting from North High, I'm Brittany Johnson for the Sports Desk.
Thanks, Brittany, Coach Santos, and Johnson for the story. This is a quick list of Mai's accomplishments while at North. It's long, so I won't get into it, but he's one of the most celebrated North wrestlers for sure, and he's going to miss the gym and probably remember the state championship the most. And that is an athlete I would love to profile every year, but if you have some athletes that you think we need to get to know a little bit more, this is how you let us know. Take a look at the number on your screen. Give us a call at 310-618-5762 and email us at thesportsdesk@torranceca.gov. Again, you can view all of our shows online on our website and on YouTube. That's all the time we have for you today. Have no fear, we will have more of the spring sports in the coming weeks. So until next time, Torrance, play hard.